what's going on, everybody? I had an awesome astral projection or out-of-body experience last night, and I wanted to share that with you guys. First, I was laying in the bed, and I started to go into the hypnagogic state or whatever, where in your perception you start seeing the lights or whatever, and I push out real hard, and I take off, and I take off out of my body pretty fast, and I see the dark sky, and I'm kind of like in the star field, I guess, and I zoom by this creature like pretty fast, and it looks like a giant beetle or a giant insect, right? And I zoom by it, and I start to slow down, and this thing, it was just kind of laying there chilling, and I think I startled it because it took off after me, and when it did, it shape-shifted into a giant dog. I'd say like probably twice the size of me. But it got up on me, right? And it opened its mouth like right by my head, and I reached up and I grabbed the top and bottom of its mouth, and it didn't try to close. Like I think I'd startled the thing, and it felt like once it confronted me that I wasn't a threat to it. I was kind of holding it there, right? And its mouth was like right up in my face, and the interesting thing is, though, I could feel it as I'm holding it, and I could feel the heat of its breath and like smell it. I mean, it was crazy, right? But after that, the thing just kind of like turned around and got off me and took off. I think zooming by it, I just kind of startled it. But anyways, I'm floating in the darkness, and I start to make a descent. And as I'm coming down, I see, like a road and grass and hills, and I see like some buildings. And at first I thought I was in the real time zone, and I actually thought that, I wasn't that far from my house. But actually where I was, and Robert Bruce talks about this, is the first 4 levels of the non-physical reality. And it's just like physical reality. It looks just like it. I mean, clearer than physical reality, really. But there's so many like differences. It's odd-end type stuff. Like 1 minute you could be like daylight and walk down the street, and then it's dark, and then just crazy out of place stuff like that. And the experience I had helped me to determine where I was. So as I started to come in, like I'm floating up high, and I'm coming down, and I see like some buildings, and the buildings have flat roofs, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm about to hit these buildings. But I come down like right on top of the buildings, and the roof is flat, and I just kind of skid or slide right across them, right? And the building's probably, I say, like 3 stories high, and I come off the edge of it, and I'm slowly floating down, and straight ahead there's like a basketball goal, and it's just a normal sized basketball goal, but the net's kind of torn and kind of hung down. And then above it is like a giant basketball goal. It's like probably 5 stories high, like bigger than the building was. And I never play basketball, so I didn't just like create this with my mind. But when I seen it, I was like, oh wow, I even thought about kind of trying to jump up and dunk on it, just because it'd be fun, because I could. And that's probably what I think, like, how it got made was maybe somebody dreaming could have, walked into the non-physical reality and kind of created this, or an astral projector, or maybe somebody who even moved on to the other side, who liked basketball, could have just been playing, But I floated down, and I hit the ground. And I'm kind of on the court, and I move a little bit towards like where there's the heel, and I look at my hands, and I say, I am Jerry, I am in control. And when I did that, I became a little more lucid. And when I did, I looked at my hands again, I said, clarity now. So, my perception was really good. And I was trying to get my bearings of where I was. So what I did, first I looked up in the sky, and I seen like you know, the stars and everything. But then there was 3 airplanes, kind of like older like airplanes, and they were flying in a triangle formation just overhead, and they all had like dual wings, like double wing. They were like stacked on top of each other. Each plane had these like double wings. I mean, I don't know what they're called, but I was just like, okay, well. But I looked to the left side, and I seen what looked like off in the woods, like a big church and like steeple or something, you know. And I looked to the right, and this was kind of odd. Like, you know, there's a building here, and it's just dark country land. There's like a basketball goal, and then plains, and then a giant church. I looked to the right, and there's this giant building like you would find in the middle of a city. I mean, like it was freaking huge, you know. And it reminded me of like a big Bell South Tower or something, you know, something like that. But I was just like, oh, this, you know, this kind of like in an odd place, you know, and that's what helped me kind of determine where I was, you know, because things are kind of odd, you know, everything's out of place, you know, nothing is really in sync with physical reality, you know, how the layout of towns and everything works is just kind of odd. And this could be anywhere, that could be anywhere, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever. But what I did then is I took off, and when I took off flying, instead of focusing and just, you know, taking off flying, I flapped my arms like a bird, you know, and it worked though. It lifted me up, and I've done this several times though, and it lifted me up in the air, you know, when I'm flying, and I see a city up ahead, and I come into the city, and I land on the street, and I'm having trouble walking. I kind of phase out for a second, and I lift my hands up and look at my hands, you know, and it, you know, I'm back there, you know, I'm back in the place, and as I move up a little bit, the road turns from like concrete to like a dirt road, but I'm in the middle of a city, you know, and to the right there's like this big parking garage, and there's a woman and a young man, and the woman had the guy by the arm, and one of his arms had like a handcuff on it, you know. She looked like she was wearing like a cop uniform, and they were speaking to each other non-verbally, like they were communicating non-verbally, but I got a perception of what they were saying. I mean, like I could perceive what they were communicating about, and the guy was like, sorry, I'm not from around here, and the female had said something like she had just gotten back, she had been on vacation herself, something like that, you know, odd, I don't know, you know, I don't know, but anyways, I moved a little bit, and I looked down, I noticed something moving with me, and it was just a little gray cat, and I reached down, and you know, I pet the cat for a second, and I started to phase out again, so I looked at my hands real quick, and I'm back in, but you know, I know my time is like coming short, so you know, I thought of several key words to describe my experience, and you know, then I called out from my body and got up and recorded it. But like I was saying, these are I think the first 4 levels of the non-physical reality, and they mirror kind of like the real time zone, but the real time zone is like more directly related to physical 3D reality. This is on past that in the non-physical universe, and you know, I really enjoy sharing my experiences with you guys. You know, I feel privileged to let you know kind of what to expect. You know, when you travel out of body, or you know, whatever it may be, you know, that you'll have a little bit of direction and kind of be, okay, well, this is that place Jerry had talked about, or here's where I'm at, you know. So if you ever find yourself, you know, you can kind of get your bearings. Okay, I'm familiar with this. But you know, it was an awesome experience though, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, thank you.